The next is 6 short poems, and they're called 6 narratives. And each of them is a monologue, except one which is a dialogue. And each of them is in a different voice. Some are clearly voices of women, others could be a woman or a man. And they're poems about love. They're not love poems. 6 narratives. You drew up the story of your life. I was in that story. Nights on the coast, I'd meet you, flashlight in hand, curving my soles over muscled rocks, cracked and raw, we'd lick inside the shells for danger. You'd drop into the bar. I'd sit upstairs at my desk writing the pages you hoped would make us famous. Then, in the face of my turned back, you went to teach at the Freedom School as if you were teaching someone else to get free from me. This was your story. Like a fog-smeared planet over the coast, I'd walked into, served your purposeful longings. I knew I did not stop till I turned my back. You drew up a story about me. I fled that story. Aching in mind, I noticed names on the helms of buses, Cop City, Sheepshead Bay. I thought I saw the city where the cops came home to lay kitchen linoleum, barbecue on balconies. I saw the bloodied head of the great sheep dragged through the underpasses, trucked to the bay where the waters would not touch it, left on the beach in its shroud of flies. On the bus to LaGuardia, my arms ached with all my findings, anchored under my breasts with all my will. I cried, sick day, oh sick day, this is my day, and I for this I will not pay, as the green rushed bleeding out through the snarled cracks of the expressway. You were telling a story about women to young men. It was not my story. It was not a story about women. It was a story about men. Your hunger, a spear gripped in hand, a tale unspun in your rented campground, clothed in captured whale songs, tracked with synthesized Andes flutes. It was all about you, beaded and bearded, misfeathered and miscloaked, where the TV cameras found you in your sadness. The last 2 lines of the next are from Walt Whitman. You were telling a story about love. It was your story. I came and stood outside listening. Death was in the doorway, death was in the air, but the story had its own life. No pretenses about women in that love song for a man. Listening, I went inside the bow scraping the bass string, inside the horn's heartbroken cry. I was the breath's intake, the bow's rough mutter. Vigil for boy of responding kisses, never again on earth responding. Vigil for comrade swiftly slain. I was telling you a story about love, how even in war it goes on speaking its own language. Yes, you said, but the larynx is bloodied. The knife was well aimed into the throat. Well, I said, love is hated. It has no price. No, you said, you are talking about feelings. Have you ever felt nothing? That is what war is now. Then a shadow skimmed your face. Go on talking in a normal voice, you murmured. Nothing is listening. You were telling a story about war. It is our story. An old story, and still it must be told. The story of the new that fled the old, how the big dream strained and shifted. The ship of hope shuddered on the iceberg's breast. The private affections swayed and staggered. So we are thrown together, so we are racked apart, in a republic shivering on, its glassy lips parted, as if the fundamental rift had not been calculated from the first into the mighty scaffold.